Hi folks, welcome to the first of what will probably be several shelf audits, a ruthless culling of my shelves to make some space for lovely new books. I'm going to run through my vintage, or some of, about 2/3 maybe of my vintage / A format paperbacks, and I'm going to take a look at how many I've read, and then I'm going to take a look out for duplicates and any that I haven't read that I think I'm never going to read. And if you can help me out, if you spot anything that you've read that was a bit shit that I should clear out to make some room, then let me know. I'm probably going to err on the side of caution in most cases unless I'm advised otherwise, so you can help me out. Okay, let us roll the shelf perusing. Right, so we're going to do these lads first, which is about 3/4, maybe 2/3 perhaps, of my vintage / A format paperback collection. And I'm going to go through each shelf, try to identify which ones I've read, and then I'll flip those around so we can only see the covers, the spines of the ones that I haven't read. And if I spot any along the way that are either duplicates, I'm being ruthless about duplicates for the most part, or that I think I'm never going to read, then I will take them off the shelves and we'll discard them via the usual routes. So first shelf then, and I counted the books beforehand. There are 116 on the top shelf, 97 on the second, 102 on the third, 114 on the fourth, and on the bottom shelf there are 90. So it's about 500 in total on these shelves. So what have I read? I have read all the Adams. I have not read the Aldis. I do have 2 copies of book 2 of Galactic Empires. One is a hardback. I probably will keep the set of 2, and if I get rid of anything it will be the hardback, but then I'll probably just keep both, completely contradicting myself. I haven't read many Aldis. I have read Hot House. I don't need that, so that's a duplicate. I've got Trillion Year Spree, which supersedes this. Although this is a nice Corgi SF Collector's Edition, it is a bit ropey on the spine and it's a duplicate, so that can go. In theory I should get rid of Heliconia because I've read it a number of times and I now have it in hardback as well, and that's the sort of uber copy, but I've had these since I was a teenager and I'm rather attached to them, and they're in a nice slipcase, so I shall keep them. Greybeard's a duplicate. I'll keep the Panther though, because I've got another copy here, look, which is a Stratus edition. It's quite nice, but it's very recent and I don't need 2 copies. And then we get into Poul Anderson's, very few of which I've read. I have read Town Zero, but the rest of them I haven't. So if you spot any Poul Andersons that aren't worth my time, then let me know. I'm not sure, for example, about the Tarot books, although they do have quite cool covers. The Cluster trilogy I hear good things about. Now these, the Kingdom of Is, etc., are, I think, fantasy / historical fiction set in a sort of Western France in the dying days of the Roman Empire. So although part of me is piqued from an interest point of view, I think actually I'm never going to read them, so they can come off. I'll just sell that set. And then Asimov, I've read most of these, but not all of them. There's a few I haven't read. I haven't read the Juveniles. I may have read that, I can't remember. I don't think I've read 9 Tomorrows. The rest of it I think I've read. So some success on that shelf, and you can help me out if you spot any Andersons or Piers Anthony that are no good. Shelf 2 then. I don't think I've read those 2, but I think I've read these, and I have read The Martian Way, of which I've got several copies. I haven't read the Asimov on science fiction. I've probably read that. I haven't read that, and maybe not that either. What's that one? Pebble in the Sky. I've got 2 copies. I've got that in the 1980s Grafton hardback, so I don't need 2 copies of that. That can go. Benford, I like the cut of his jib, and I've not read these yet, so I will keep those. I don't need to keep these because I've got those in hardback now. Whilst it might be nice to have a reading copy and paperback, I think they can go. Blish. Now then, I've got 2 copies of All the Colours of Darkness. Oh, should I stick with the older Penguin or the New English Library? Well, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? I'm going to get rid of the Penguin one. Fahrenheit 451 I've read. I've not read any of the other Bradburys, I don't think. David Brin, not sure about him yet. I have read The Heart of the Comet, which was all right. I don't know if I really need to keep it though. Do I need to keep it? Probably not. If I want to read it again, I'll get it on audiobook. That can go. Brunners, haven't read any Brunners yet. Got several of those. Bujold, I've read Shards of Honor. It was all right. Didn't float my boat massively though, but I think I need to give it another chance, so I'll keep those for now. The Burroughs books, haven't read any of those yet. And Sinners, I'd like to read. I'm keeping that. CJ Cherry, I haven't read any yet. I need to give her a chance before moving those on or not. So some to get rid of, duplicates or otherwise. I've read the Tripods trilogy. That's the other two there. When I was a kid, I haven't read them for years, but I'd quite like to reread them, and I'm going to keep them anyway for nostalgia reasons. I've read Twilight of the Well of Souls. No, I haven't. I've read Midnight of the Well of Souls. I haven't read the others yet. Now we're into Arthur C. Clarke's, some of which I've read and others I have not. So Expedition to Earth, I probably don't need 2 copies of that, do I? So there's a New English Library. Quick Decision, I think I prefer the Sphere, so I'm going to keep that. Results. I think I've got Rama Revealed. Let me just check. I do. Where's he gone? Rama Revealed. I've got that in hardback, so I don't need that. Arguably, I don't need the hardback either because it's not meant to be very good, but never mind. Fall of Moon Dust. I have read that years and years ago. I need to read it again, actually, for nostalgia's sake as much as anything else. D.G. Compton, haven't read any of. Michael Coney, haven't read any of. Edmund Cooper, haven't read any of. I've got quite a few of those now. Julie Chenada, haven't read. Samuel R. Delaney, I've only read Babel 17. I should keep that because it's a nice vintage copy. Gordon Dixon, then. I haven't read any of him. And I don't have that many of them, so I should probably keep those for now. Thomas Dish, I haven't read any of. Obviously important. Greg Egan, I've read some of. Don't think I've read Permutation City. Keeping that one. Jose Farmer, Philip Jose Farmer, I've only read... which was it? This one, To Your Scattered Bodies Go. Haven't read anything else, but I've got quite a lot. If I'd read more, I might be thinning out, but I haven't, so I have to keep them, I think. Now, I've got a compendium edition of the first 3 Alien tie-ins. So I don't know if I should keep the compendium. I think I'm going to keep the separate ones and then get rid of the compendium. And if I find Alien 3 in its individual edition, then I'll get it. Neil Gaiman, I think I've read Neverwhere, but not American Gods. Let us see what's on this. Okay, Harrison. Arguably, I've got too many Harry Harrisons, but I'm not sure which to keep and which to get rid of. I've only read one so far. Make Room, Make Room, this one, which was pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. I should probably give The Stainless Steel Rat at least 1 or 2 of those a go, and I should probably give Death World a go. They're fairly iconic. M. John Harrison, Draconian books, Pastel City and Storm of Wings. Not sure. I should keep them because he's an important writer. I'm not sure if I like him, but he's an important writer. Then I've got about a zillion Heinleins, and I've only read one. I've only read Starship Troopers, which was good. You know, you always get a bit of politics with Heinlein. Frank Herbert's next to the Heinleins with a couple of Zena Hendersons, which I haven't read yet. Got those recently. So Dune, I've read all the Dune books several times in most cases. I have not read anything else by him, I don't think. maybe a short story or two. Fred Hoyle, I've not read any of. What else is here? Le Guin is a bit of a blank spot for me. I've got quite a few of her books, but I've not read much, and I ought to, so I'm not going to get rid of those. Keith Lormer, I shall keep. So we're not making a lot of progress on this shelf. You're going to see all the clutter that sits behind stuff on my desk now. So what have we got here? Fritz Lieber. Haven't read anything by. Should keep it for now. That's a connecting story between her original what was it called? Many Coloured Land, that series. Forget what it was called. And the Galactic Milieu. Alem, I should read that at some point. Master of Paxwax, there's a second one of those that I should get and read them, and then maybe keep them, maybe not. Then we get into the McCaffreys. I've only read the first of the Dragonflight books, sorry, the Dragons of Pern, which was this one, Dragonflight. And it was, I was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed it. But I've got 2 copies of that, so I don't need both. That could go for sure. And I'm minded to just keep the first 3 Pern books and get rid of everything else. But I also think that I should probably read the first 3 first before doing that, in case I really like it and want to continue. And what else we got here? Michael Moorcock. I don't know if I'm ever going to read any Michael Moorcock, but I've got quite a bit of it. Although I've just noticed that those Morrisseys are out of place. They should come after the Morrissey, shouldn't they? After the Moorcocks, rather. There we go. Bit of Larry Niven, I've read quite a few of those. I've read Mote in God's Eye a couple of times. I have read Footfall many times. Lucifer's Hammer a few times. Ringworld. Now I've got 2 copies of Ringworld. Which one should I keep? I don't need 2. I was sort of collecting. Do you know what? I don't need 2 copies, and I don't need to collect those editions either. And the ones that I've got aren't in brilliant condition. So if I've got doubles, and I have a double of that as well, I shall sell those. Andre Norton. My one experience of Andre Norton so far was the Beastmaster, and it didn't inspire me to continue, I must admit. But I am told I should read the Web World books because they're meant to be good. So there's a little pile here of books that I shall list on eBay. Not many, but I have created a bit of space, so that's good. There's a few spaces. So let's have a look at the read versus unread ratio. So the scores on the doors are, on the top shelf, I have read 35 out of 116, helped greatly by quite a bit of Isaac Asimov and some Brian Aldiss and some Douglas Adams. You can see I've yet to tackle much of Aldiss or Anthony or Anderson. Still 35 out of 116, what's that, 30, about a third, a bit less, 30%, something like that. On this shelf though, I've only read 7. So it's 2 or 3 of the Asimovs. Gregory Benford, that was Timescape, I think. A couple of Blishes. And an Alfred, well, 1 Blish, 1 Bester. A Bradbury. A Bujold, and that's it. So 7 out of 97. So I don't know, whatever that is. 8%, something like that, of that shelf. So not many, got a bit of reading to do. On this shelf, it's a little bit better. 14 out of 102. So call it 12-13%, something like that. So 4 there, a bunch of the Clarks, a Delaney, and a Robert L. Ford, and a Farmer, and a Gaiman at the end there, and that's it on that shelf. And this shelf's not a lot better. So 12 on the shelf, 100 out of 114, so 10% maybe. The Harry Harrison, Centauri device, M. John Harrison. Starship Troopers, the June books, and a Ursula K. Le Guin at the end there. I have read, that's one of the Earthsea books lying down there. And then on the bottom shelf, got 8 out of 90, or about 10%, a bit less. That's one McCaffrey. I've read Canticle for Leibowitz a couple of times. A few Nivens that I've read. Many more that I haven't. I'm surprised by that, because I do like Larry Niven. Although I'm more familiar with his 80s work than with his 70s work, I suppose. The exception there being Moat God's Eye. And then one Andre Norton. So I don't know what the overall total is. I'll tot it up. But it's going to be around the sort of 10-15%. So of the 500 odd books that are on these shelves, I've only read about 50 of them. So I've got some work to do. And these are the ones that I've removed from the shelves in a ruthless unhaul. So not bad. That's one set of bookshelves out of about 7 in total in my office. So pretty good going. A start. I don't know how interesting that was for you as a viewer. It was a useful exercise for me. I've cleared out about 20 books, 15-20 books, and made a bit of space, so I can probably cram some more A-format books onto these shelves, leaving a bit more room on my other shelves, which we'll get to at some point. Like I said before, if you spotted anything that isn't worthy of space on my shelves, then do let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye for now.